The officer seen in that video hitting the suspect has been arrested and has lost his job. He also faces a battery charge.
And now we're focusing on the other officers you saw in the video. They stood nearby and seemingly didn't intervene. Channel 4's Scott Johnson joining us live after speaking with our crime and safety analyst about this. Scott?
Well, I asked him why these officers stood by. All but one just stood there and didn't move. Gil Smith says there might be some reasons, but it's going to be hard to convince the public that they did enough. Here's the video of the JSO officer hitting a woman who is already in handcuffs. She kicks him first, then he unloads with his fists. And while this is happening, watch the other officers stand and watch. There's one who steps forward, puts his hands on Officer Akinyemi Borosati, and perhaps was trying to defuse the violent situation. But I asked News4JAX crime analyst Gil Smith whether the surrounding officers have more of a duty to intervene.
They could have moved in, but I'm glad that one officer did at least walk over and put his hand on the officer to stop him from continuing to punch the suspect. So I'm glad to see at least one officer did take action.
Gil did point out something that's just possibly a reality of life, that sometimes when something unexpected happens, people are delayed in their response, and this all happened in just seconds. We counted 5 seconds from the time she kicks to the time he's done punching.
Sometimes when you see someone punching someone immediately, people just freeze and they just kind of stare before they realize what's going on and take action. So
yeah,
for the first few seconds,
yep.
Yeah, right. For the first few seconds, I can understand them not doing anything. But after a while, he still continues to punch. So maybe they should have engaged him.
I have reached out to the sheriff's office looking for any sort of comment on this issue of the other officers standing by watching, because when JSO initially announced this arrest before we could see the video, the only thing they told us was there was one officer who put his hand on Officer Borosati, but no mention of whether these multiple officers could have done more.
Now, in this particular situation, these other officers, they do have another prisoner who is handcuffed, so they do have to keep watch on him. If they engage with this officer, then no one is actually watching the prisoner.
Officer Borosati is being charged with battery. The woman in the case had a violence against police officer charge as well as trespassing charge, which is initially what called police out to her workplace to arrest her. But live downtown of the jail, Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.